Hello, everyone. Welcome to Seasonal and Daily Anime Reviews, the channel where we talk about seasonal anime every day about stuff. I need to find a proper way to say that because I always end up messing that up. But today we're going to be talking about episode 3 of My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2. And this was kind of a... How do I say this? It's kind of a nothing episode. No, okay, that's not true. It wasn't necessarily a nothing episode. It was just an episode that didn't really have much going on for it. I said it was. A lot of it is like an exposition dump slash somewhat info interrogation, where it's the aftermath of everything that happened between episode 1 and 2. And so now it's the detective that we've been seeing this entire time, which, to be fair, they did what I wanted them to do. They basically gave him a whole ass episode of him basically going around trying to get all the information that we need. I kind of wish we were able to see the proper confrontation between him and his sister, since he also found out that his sister is directly related to Popstep, who also is part of the Vigilantes that, he's been trying to keep track of. And so, he has that through line right there. He's just like, hey, my sister, she knows, but obviously his sister, being the secretive person she is obviously keeping a lot of it lock and key. Also, a big prominent person in this episode was All Might, because we also see that All Might has somewhat of a working relationship with the detective that we've been following, which is also, that was interesting to see. I remember seeing that and I'm like, oh, well, okay, I see that, how that's going, interacting, being all that stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, okay, so All Might actually be more prominent than we think he is. I knew he was going to be a part of it, every so often. But I thought it was going to be more for, the big stuff that was happening. And it was just oh, yeah, they take care of the big main thing. But then our side characters will probably take care of whatever side thing that's happening over yonder, right? And so, but no, it actually seems like All Might actually be a bigger focal point than I initially thought for this, which I'm interested in very much. It also seems like it just feels very different from what it is, right? This does feel very before times, and before Midoriya and Bakugo, they must be children at this point. Especially the way the current Millennium talks about Ida, who's his little brother. So I assume this is prequel stuff, it feels like. Again, I don't know if we're going to see a young Deku or a young Bakugo or a young that stuff, but those heroes are around, and All Might seems like he's on his tip-top game, so he's not at the point where he's completely his powers are starting to dilute in any way. So that's very interesting to see. But yeah, a lot of this, other than writing home about, it was just an exposition. There was a few cute gags, there was a whole thing with bath salts that All Might was going to give to his sister, to the detective sister, but then the detective took away because, well, if I'm not going to tell you about Popstep, then you don't deserve a present. But he used it for himself, which now everyone's like, oh, you got a girlfriend, you smelling kind of good, and he's just mega embarrassed about it, which I thought that was pretty funny. We also do see a little bit of our main cast as well, with the Crawler and Popstep. We see the Crawler dealing with a villain, and now he's developing his power more and more, and now he can use one polarity on his hands and another polarity on his feet, and he can now shoot projectiles from his hands, stuff like that. So he's developing with stuff like that, which I appreciate. This is kind of what I wanted from Deku in a sense, because I know at some point he develops his power, but to the point where he's yeah, you get 9 powers, dog, and it's wow, this is cheap and broken and dumb. But now this one feels oh yeah, no, it makes sense logically how his powers would go. Of oh yeah, well, if you can use your suction stuff like that, then it makes sense to reverse the polarities. And if you can reverse the polarities, then it makes sense that you can make it stronger and more precise and more whatever. I also was given a little bit of a tidbit by a friend of mine that he has a famous sister. He didn't tell me who, but I assume it's either a new character that they're gonna introduce, Captain Celebrity or something like that, or the Crab Girl that's specific to this show. But he also potentially hinted that it could actually be someone we know, which I'm trying to potentially think who the hell could be somebody that we know. I have no idea. I have no idea actually who it could be. That's what I'm trying to think. I'm like, who the hell could it actually be? But regardless, it's whatever. Like, again, this episode was kind of nothing. But it was also like, it was fine. It was more or less the same of like the quality that we've gotten. I'm still having fun with it, so I guess that's the best part. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this episode. Yes, it's like somewhat of a shorter episode, but sometimes it's going to happen when you have episodes like these. Let me know if you like the episode, if you hate the episode. Let me know what you're thinking of the season so far, and I will see you guys within the next episode. Bye-bye.